Hello again from Chateau de Brissac, the Loire Valley in France. If you watch my last video, you'll recognise the chateau in the background. It's a magnificent building that's been in the same family for more than 500 years. This family actually, they also have their own vineyard because of course the Loire Valley, in case you didn't know, is very famous for its wines. You might be able to see in the background, as we go through, you'll see a vineyard in the background. So it's a very famous region for wine. Makes white wine out of Sauvignon Blanc and Chenin Blanc, and rosé, very good rosé, and also some red wine. But my thought for today that I wanted to share with you is another thought that I've got from exploring some of these magnificent estates and castles of the Loire Valley. And that is, what is success in life and what are we all aiming for? We're all aiming, really, aren't we, to be happy. That's really what I think, if we really think deeply about the purpose of our life or what we're striving for, it is to feel happy. And I thought it was interesting going through one of these castles that they explained in one of the displays that the definition of happiness throughout most of human history, and certainly through the Middle Ages, the Renaissance, and up until very, very recently, the definition of happiness was the absence of pain. To be happy was to not have pain. Because when you think about it, for most of human history, we haven't had much in the way of being able to deal with pain. And in fact, if you got sick, it was pretty much, for a lot of the time, for most people, it was a sign that you were going to die. It was probably going to be a slow and painful death. But even if you weren't particularly sick, pain was a very common part of most people's lives. And remember, you can see the vineyard in the background, I think. Remember, there weren't the painkillers until recently. There weren't the medicines, there weren't the therapies and treatments that we all just take for granted. So we in our life, in terms of when it comes to physical pain, we are so incredibly fortunate and privileged that we don't experience what most people have experienced throughout human history. And I think it's another thing to be really grateful for, to say, I'm so lucky that I live in this time in human history where I don't have to deal with pain on a constant basis. Now obviously some of us do, but most of us don't. In fact, most of us, the pains we experience are more emotional pain. They're to do with our thoughts. And we can actually deal with those. There are ways to deal with those. But when it comes to physical pain, if we have something, we have a headache or something, we can take a pill and get rid of it. We can understand what's causing it and get rid of it. It wasn't an option for most people. So it's another thing I think to be really grateful for and realize that for most people throughout history, the definition of happiness was the absence of pain. So for us, maybe if we took that attitude and thought, if I'm not in pain, if I'm not in physical pain, why can't I be happy? And really work on that as an idea. Hope you find this helpful. All the best.